Imagine pulling into a parking lot. You haven't said a single word. You haven't introduced yourself. Nobody knows your job. Nobody knows your income. Nobody knows your story. And yet, within seconds, people have already formed opinions about you. Some think you're successful. Some think you're struggling. Some think you're responsible. Some think you're showing off. Some think you're wealthy. Some think you're drowning in debt, all because of one thing: the car you arrived in. Now here's the interesting part. Most of those assumptions are completely wrong, but that doesn't stop people from making them. Because whether we like it or not, cars have become one of the most visible financial signals in modern life. A car isn't just transportation, it's a status symbol, a personality statement, a financial signal, a social shortcut people use to judge others. And today we're diving into how people judge you at every car price level, from the cheapest used cars to multi-million-dollar hypercars. The assumptions, the stereotypes, the reality, and the surprising truth about what your vehicle says and doesn't say about you. And trust me, the most expensive cars often create the most inaccurate assumptions. Let's begin. Imagine you're driving a car worth $3,000. Maybe it's 15 years old. Maybe the paint is faded. Maybe the seats are worn. Maybe it makes strange noises every now and then. Most people immediately make assumptions. They assume you're struggling financially. They assume you're living paycheck to paycheck. They assume you can't afford anything better. And sometimes they're right, but sometimes they're completely wrong, because the owner of that car could be a student avoiding debt, a young entrepreneur investing every extra dollar into a business, a future millionaire choosing assets over appearances. The car doesn't tell the whole story, but people judge anyway, because humans naturally fill information gaps with assumptions. Now let's move up. A car worth around $10,000. Reliable, practical, nothing flashy, nothing embarrassing, just transportation. At this level, people usually see responsibility. The owner appears sensible, financially stable, reasonable, not rich, not poor, just normal. And interestingly enough, this is where many future wealthy people spend a surprisingly long time, because financially disciplined individuals often keep cars far longer than society expects. While others upgrade constantly, they're investing. While others chase appearances, they're building assets, which creates an interesting paradox. Many people driving average cars are financially stronger than people driving luxury cars, but nobody can see that. Now let's move to the $30,000 to $50,000 range. This is where things start changing. The average person sees success, not extraordinary success, but visible progress. People assume you have a decent career, a stable income, a comfortable lifestyle. The judgments become more positive, more respectful, more approving, because you've entered what society considers successful. And yet, many people at this level feel exactly the same as they did before. Same worries, same bills, same stress, because owning a nicer car doesn't automatically change your financial reality. It only changes how others perceive it. Now let's jump to the $80,000 luxury vehicle. This is where assumptions become much stronger. People begin thinking, this person is wealthy, this person is successful, this person has money, but reality becomes more complicated, because a luxury car can mean many different things. It could mean genuine wealth, or it could mean a large monthly payment. It could represent financial freedom or financial pressure. It could be owned outright or heavily financed. The car looks identical either way, and that's one of the biggest misconceptions people make. They confuse visible spending with actual wealth. Those are not the same thing. In fact, many genuinely wealthy people intentionally avoid expensive vehicles, while many financially stressed people prioritize them, which means appearances become increasingly unreliable. Now let's move higher. The $150,000 car. This is where admiration and judgment begin mixing together. Some people feel impressed. Others feel skeptical. Some think, wow, they must be doing incredibly well. Others think, why would anyone spend that much on a car? The same vehicle creates completely different reactions, and that's because people aren't judging the car. They're judging their relationship with money. Someone who values luxury may admire it. Someone who values investing may criticize it. Someone who dreams of owning it may feel inspired. Someone struggling financially may feel resentment. The car becomes a mirror, reflecting other people's beliefs more than your reality. Now let's enter exotic car territory. Ferraris, Lamborghinis, McLarens, cars worth $300,000, $500,000, or even more. At this level, attention becomes unavoidable. People stare, take photos, ask questions, make assumptions, and those assumptions are often extreme. People assume you're incredibly wealthy. People assume you're showing off. People assume you're obsessed with status. People assume you're successful. People assume you're arrogant, all before you've spoken a single sentence. That's the strange thing about highly visible success. It attracts both admiration and criticism simultaneously. The more visible something becomes, the more opinions it generates, and sometimes those opinions have nothing to do with reality. The owner might be incredibly humble or incredibly arrogant. The car doesn't tell us, yet people continue judging anyway. Now let's move to the ultra-wealthy level, the person who can afford almost any car. Interestingly, this is where something surprising happens. Many truly wealthy individuals start driving less impressive vehicles, not always, but often, because once you have nothing left to prove, impressing strangers becomes less important. A billionaire may drive a normal SUV. A multimillionaire may keep the same car for 10 years. A successful entrepreneur may choose comfort over status. And this confuses people, because society expects wealth to look expensive, but real wealth often looks practical, invisible, quiet, which is why some of the richest people you'll ever meet don't look rich at all. Now let's talk about social media, because social media completely changed car culture. For decades, your neighbors were your comparison group. Today, you're comparing yourself to celebrities, athletes, influencers, billionaires, and people you've never met. Every day, you're exposed to luxury vehicles worth more than most homes, and slowly, your perception shifts. A perfectly good car begins feeling inadequate. A reliable vehicle begins feeling boring. An affordable lifestyle begins feeling unsuccessful, even when it's not. This creates enormous financial pressure. People start upgrading not because they need to, but because they feel behind. And feeling behind can become expensive, very expensive. Now let's discuss one of the most important truths in personal finance. Cars are depreciating assets. Most of them lose value every year, which means every dollar spent on a vehicle is a trade-off. That's not necessarily bad. Life is meant to be enjoyed. The problem comes when people buy cars for approval instead of enjoyment, because approval is temporary. Payments are not. Imagine spending years making monthly payments simply to impress people who stop paying attention after a week. That happens more often than people realize, and it's one reason so many people feel financially trapped despite earning good income. They're funding appearances, not freedom. Now here's where things get really interesting. The people who judge your car the most often matter the least. Strangers in parking lots, people at traffic lights, random social media users, individuals who know almost nothing about your life. Yet many people allow those opinions to influence major financial decisions, and that's dangerous. Because the goal isn't to drive a car that impresses everyone else. The goal is to build a life that works for you. A car should support your goals, not replace them. At the end of the day, the most financially successful people often understand something simple. A car is a tool. Sometimes it's a hobby. Sometimes it's a passion. Sometimes it's a reward. But it should never become your identity, because the moment your self-worth becomes tied to what you drive, you'll never feel like you have enough. There will always be something newer, faster, more expensive, more impressive. The race never ends, and maybe that's the biggest lesson of all. People will judge you no matter what you drive. Drive something cheap, they'll assume you're struggling. Drive something expensive, they'll assume you're showing off. Drive something practical, they'll assume you're boring. Drive something exotic, they'll assume you're obsessed with status. So you might as well stop building your life around other people's assumptions, because the people who truly win financially aren't always driving the most expensive cars. They're usually the people who understand the difference between looking wealthy and actually becoming wealthy. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more deep dive into money, psychology, success, and the hidden realities behind modern life. And comment below, what's the most expensive car you've ever owned, and did people treat you differently because of it?